My sister uses Uber almost daily for work. One night around 2 a.m., she ordered a ride after her shift. The driver seemed normal, friendly even, but a few minutes in, she got a weird feeling that something was off. She kept glancing at the app. The profile photo was a clean-shaven man, maybe in his 40s, but the man driving her was scruffy, younger, and had a scar on his cheek. When she asked, "Hey, are you John?" the name on the app, he smiled and said, "Yeah, that's me." But something about his tone made her skin crawl. She texted me, "This guy doesn't match his profile." About 10 minutes later, I got another text. "Someone else is in the back seat." I froze. She hadn't mentioned anyone getting in. She said she had looked in the mirror and saw the faint outline of a woman sitting behind her, dressed in black, not moving or speaking. When she turned around to look, the seat was empty. The driver just laughed and said, "You're seeing things." She told him to stop the car immediately. When he refused, she threatened to call the police right then. That made him slam the brakes and unlock the doors. She jumped out on the side of the road and ran toward a residential area. Luckily, there was a police station nearby. We later reported the ride. Uber confirmed the car was not linked to her account that night. The driver wasn't even an employee. Whoever that man was, he somehow cloned the info and posed as a driver. This happened in 2019, when I was in college. It was around 11:30 p.m., and I ordered an Uber after a late-night study session. The car pulled up, a black Toyota Camry, and I got inside. The moment I closed the door, I realized something strange. There were no inside handles on the back doors, just flat panels. Before I could even comment, the driver said, "Don't worry about that, it's just broken." I tried to brush it off, but got scared a little bit. We started driving, and within minutes, I noticed he wasn't following the GPS. When I pointed it out, he reached up and turned off the phone mounted on the dash. He said, "GPS just drains my battery." I glanced out the window and realized we weren't heading toward my apartment at all. We were going toward the outskirts of town. I told him firmly, "Stop the car, right now." He didn't answer. I tried the door again, forgetting there were no handles. My heart was racing. Then he did something that still makes me sick to this day. He started naming streets before we even got to them. Miller Road, then Johnson Street, then the bridge. And he was right. He knew exactly what was coming before we got there. But these weren't major roads. These were quiet, almost abandoned streets on the edge of town. I finally yelled, "Let me out!" and started banging on the window. That's when he looked at me through the rearview mirror. His eyes were dead serious when he said, "You're not ready to go home yet." I felt like my body turned to ice. But then, without warning, the car slowed down and came to a complete stop on a dirt road. He didn't say a word, just stared at me in the mirror. And then, he unlocked the doors. No explanation, no expression, just click, and the locks popped up. I didn't even look back. I got out and ran down the road until I reached a main street. When I reported it to Uber, the trip didn't even show up on my ride history. It was like it never existed. And to this day, I still wonder, if he hadn't unlocked those doors himself, what was he planning to do? This happened to my friend when she was in college. She was leaving a late-night party around 1 a.m. and ordered an Uber to take her back to her dorm. The driver pulled up, matched the car on her phone, and even said her name when she got in. Everything seemed normal at first, but after a few minutes, she realized he wasn't following the GPS. Instead of heading toward campus, he turned down darker, emptier streets. She asked where they were going, and he just said, "Shortcut." The further they drove, the worse her gut feeling got. When she checked her phone, she noticed the ride had been cancelled. He wasn't logged into the app anymore. She got more scared. She quietly texted her roommate her location, and that something felt wrong. That's when the driver suddenly locked the doors and said in a low voice, "Don't try anything." She spotted a convenience store coming up. Thinking fast, she started screaming and hitting the window until the driver panicked and pulled over. She unlocked the door manually and bolted inside the store, where she begged the cashier for help. By the time police arrived, the car was gone. Later, she found out from Uber that the man wasn't her driver. He had copied the exact car model and license plate style, waiting outside bars and parties to trick drunk students. They never caught him.